cabinets and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I got they're not glued in yet, but I'll have beams and I'll do a slat floor sticking out.
Awesome. Let me see that base again because I got the terrain set up for Thursday.
Yeah, let me measure. I'll measure the diameter
All
of the
right,
bottom.
good, because I got a 3 level. On it. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Once again, I'm Jay, aka Lord Gazumba. I'm here with two of my very good friends. I'm here with Bill and Mark, and we're going to
8 inches.
What? You can see I haven't shaved all weekend just because I just didn't feel like it, so I haven't.
Because you're a scrub.
I am. I needed a rest. I needed a relaxing week. Notice my new effect too. I got stuff scrolling online during the broadcast now. Woohoo! I was able to get that figured out finally on this thing. So this is a big one for us. We're all hanging out here at Lord Peaks Haven and Tringley. Bill, I showed Bill last night where it was on the map. So, that's pretty far up north. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I forgot it's that far up.
Yes. I also told Bill the story of Sir Harn, which we'll save for another day. But we're on here. We're going to discuss the picture in the lower left-hand corner. Is that right? Yeah, it's left for you.
Yep.
I have a wall that we call our Wall of Fame. We've been playing for 38 years. And TSR's brought out some fantastic adventures, and so when I tried counting all 126 that I've done, what the ratio is. I don't even know what it is. I'm thinking it's 2/3 homegrown, 1/3 published. Believe it or not, I thought it was more 50-50, but it's not. And so these are mostly TSR, but there are a couple exceptions of published adventures that we just think deserve a place in our. Not in infamy, but honoring them. So we came up with this idea. And my other friend who doesn't play Steve was just here. He gave me the idea. He puts all his album covers up on his wall, the ones that he loves, Sgt. Pepper's or Rush, and he puts them. I was like, man, that's a great idea. Let's do it with modules. So that's where the idea came from. So we have 18 up currently, and real quick, I'll go through them real fast. First row is Village of Hamlet, then the Keep on the Borderlands, Secret of Bonehill, Tomb of Horrors, Temple of Elemental Evil, and the Hidden Shrine of Tomoakan. Second row, Ravager of Time, the original Ravenloft, Ravenloft 2, Egg of the Phoenix, Return of the Eight, and Boltron's Beacon. Third row, Lost Caverns of Shokanth, personally my favorite of all time. Forgotten Temple of Tharsden, The Final Enemy, which is the Saltmarsh ending adventure, Q1 Queen of the Demon Pits, Tomb of the Lizard King, one a lot of people love, and the only one that's on TSR, it's by a company called Underworld Publishing. I think they did 3 modules, but it's called Harbinger of Darkness, and those are the 18. Now we have 12 that are scrolling down in the middle that we are looking to put in 6 spots. So I got my special gray board up here and to discuss them. But before we start that, anything that pops out from the original 18 that you guys can, any memories? Good or bad?
The one that I remember, which I thought was pretty cool, was Ravager of Time.
Yes.
And the benefit of that was taking advantage of the actual age rules that was in the DMG. Because most of the time you don't, especially with like elves and or half elves or dwarves and so forth, you never really get to an age where you take advantage of what that table really stands for. And not to give obvious, spoilers and stuff away for it, but I thought that was, just such a cool ad of taking advantage of it and making the adventure, surrounding that.
You had 30 days to live.
Yeah.
You got aged to the point where it's 30 days to live, and she made copies of you, and at the end you had to fight her and all your copies.
Yep.
Yeah. And the good thing was spellcasters got like higher wisdom and intelligence, but beyond that, I mean, it was. I talked to a gentleman online on one of the sites, and I said that was one of my favorites, just because it was so different. It was such a different, cool concept. So, and there's Walt chiming in. Thanks, man. Yeah, Shrimpkin. Well, Shrimpkin and Fishkin are actually from D3, aren't they?
Maybe.
Oh no,
Shrimpkin was Fensig's boat.
Yeah,
Was
but
his
I
whole-
think he got it from D3, didn't he? And that's
Yeah,
one of the
I
ones
think
up.
so.
I think that was one of the Loth with the demon on front of it boats. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would say one of my others is, of course, Egg of the Phoenix. Come on in, dude.
No.
You can come in.
No, I'm not coming in.
Walt's online. Bill's here. Yeah, you can come in. And
Monkey
we're gonna,
hook. Where's the monkey hooks?
where are the monkey hooks? Okay, downstairs in that pile on the upper green, the green things, the green wall. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the one upper top of shelf in the corner. They're there. You'll find it. Yeah, take your monkey hooks. There you go. That's him. So I already gave him credit for it. But so they had dinner with it over here tonight. So. Was it Shokanth? Well, Shokanth is fantastic, and Shokanth's one of the oldest modules that there is. By the way, that was written years ago and just released. It was released later on, but Egg of the Phoenix we had, and it is a long adventure. It was actually a RPGA Association module, and it ran multiple sittings, and then you're on a plane called Sepulchre at the end, and if you failed your save at the end, you got dissolved with the plane as it went down. And we had two characters. Alan lost Aragorn, Mr. Original Name person, and Gary Scharf lost Anusol, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it Clanthos?
It was Clanthos.
It was Clanthos. He lost Clanthos. So yeah. And,
The most important thing about that adventure is if you made it all the way through, you got to call yourself the hero of the egg.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's right. So a lot of people have Hero of the Egg down on their sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the original. Like I think I had Elijah Winchester's second on that, and the third.
Yep.
The third.
That's where I actually had Big Jim Slade.
Yeah.
And that might have been David Granavis.
I found, believe it or not, the module log sheet I used it was inside, and I just looked at it, and I think it was.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think he was.
Or it was Railstone. It was Railstone or Big Jim Slade. No, maybe I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But another one that probably Walt will remember is Ravenloft 2, where what happens is it's kind of like a dividing. It's not more of a vampire thing, but it's where he Strahd divides himself using a thing called the apparatus, and everyone in the town the bodies are being changed out with undead. So this is the adventure that Azalen the Lich comes. Yeah, painful, absolutely. This is the adventure that Azalen the Lich comes from. So Azalen was about to switch into the mayor's body right at that point, and they had a couple other people. So these ghouls, gas, specters were all switching places with the townsfolk. It was really difficult. It was one of the most difficult things the DM I've ever done. It was
Ravenloft is easy. You just got to burn the whole world in.
That's a joke from a game store down in Wildwood, New Jersey, where I was a kid. I was in high school. I was down there, down the shore, and the owners of the place was like, "Yeah, Ravenloft just came out. This was a great adventure." And they're like, "Yeah, we just we couldn't get Strahd, so we went outside and we burned the castle down." I'm thinking, "You burned a stone castle down?" I'm thinking to myself, "My God, that yeah, that was the joke from that." So, absolutely. Yes, there's a lot of memories.
Ravenloft was great because it was a game changer in game design.
Well, yes.
Just the way they did the 3D mapping and everything, it sparked a whole realm.
It did. It sparked the realm a little bit too, but the people who wrote Ravenloft are the Dragonlance people, the Hickmans, right? They're the ones that did the Ravenloft module, and they.
Right. Yep.
What? Which one was? Yeah. I6 is Ravenloft. Yeah, Ravenloft's fantastic. It was difficult. Cool, man. That's a cool idea. Doing that in the, I'm responding to his sprocketeer there. But Mark, you got moderator abilities now, so okay,
absolutely.
Cool.
Yep.
I appreciate that. So yeah, artwork, everything about Ravenloft 2 were fantastic. I mean, I just love those. Going back to the lower level, I mean, you can't go wrong with Village of Hamlet as a first level starter. We kind of built the whole campaign around that. Keeping the Borderlands as a starter, Secret of Bone Hill as a starter. They're all just fantastic entry level mini campaign settings, and it really was a fun time. I love all three of those, and as far as starter campaigns, and we're going to nominate another one. I think that's could even be considered a starter. I was looking at it and I was like, did I run that when they were at the beginning of first or the end of first? And you'll see what I'm talking about. But Temple of Elemental Evil is probably the all-time penultimate campaign-changing adventure there is, and that's up there. And believe it or not, I just recently, within 2 years ago, got a nice copy. So my crappy cotton, it's so thick that it's just the cover up in there. But I mean, that thing is so beat up. It's such a fantastic adventure. I mean, I just think that it's one of the best things I ever wrote. But Shokanth is my all-time favorite. The Drell, how can you go wrong with Drellsna?
Drellsna's great.
Yeah.
And I'll add to the Temple of Elemental Evil. The coolest thing I think with that is the fact that it actually is canon. So, if you follow the actual storyline and history line of Greyhawk, there were very few adventures that would come in because it allowed you to kind of place them wherever it is that you wanted and wherever within the timeline, with the exception of that.
Yes.
It was important to go and take care of it before they came out with the From the Ashes set.
Exactly. I mean, and we even reverse canoned it going back. If you look at the timeline, our first entry level Monty characters, we all named ourselves, were all part of the Battle of Emeraldy Meadows. So yeah. We did that before I even started tracking stuff. We had it wasn't anything, and we're talking about when I was like 13 years old, and Alan and Bill Runzer and Matt McPherson and all them, we all did, let's, we were talking about this, so we just set up a thing and, wiped out all the humanoids and all, but that's how far back our campaign goes as far as timeline, and now we're in 635, and that's the one thing I don't get. Every time they reset the adventures, they're talking about 5E for Greyhawk now, 576. I'm thinking to myself, that's 5 years before the Greyhawk Wars. What are they talking about? Resetting it before that? I don't understand that. So. Well, cool. You know what? That's a module that's not up on Search of the Unknown because I hate write. I don't want to write inside it, and we never ran it because the monsters weren't set in it, and you had to put the treasure in and the monsters yourself. But it's a cool it was a cool concept at that point, and that's why we never really ran that one. I found that I had the monochrome version of it, but I've never run it. So yeah. B4 is that the one that Tim likes with the different factions of families? Am I thinking of that one? Which one's B4? Yeah.
Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah. But Lost City. Okay, that's Lost City. All right, cool.
Lost City.
I'm thinking which which one I'm talking about, where there was different houses in the city, and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, the B series all the way down to 10, 11, 12 is all, it's supposedly basic, but it's still AD&D to me. Keeping the Borderlands is AD&D, it's just in my heart, and they're all great low level stuff. So why don't we get started here? Let's hold on to Walt here as long as possible, right? So we get some input. The first one I got up here, I don't see how we can't even keep this one up. And that is against the Giants. And the only reason it wasn't up there originally was this was their only copy, and then I found that I got that horde of great modules, and this isn't really. I mean, look at the tape on this thing; it's taped up all over the place. Yep. But I don't see how. I mean, we ran this a long time ago, but it's like, how do you not put that? That's one of the funnest adventures. It sets up the whole Drow, the D series. You got. You got your tentacle rods in there. You got Vlandrel in there, who's a dark elf, a priestess of the elder elemental god in there. You got the elder elemental god temple in there. It's just and you fighting fire giants and all sorts of crazy stuff throughout the whole thing. And Rimaraz too in the second one. So I mean, I just love that one, and it's great for higher level. And we reran like the giant one, the hill giant one, a little while back, but I've been going through the original thing. That was early on in our campaign. We're talking about adventure number 17 out of 826. So it was a long time ago.
Well before my time.
Yeah. But I ran the Hill Giants with you because Marcus actually was in it, remember? So
yeah, well, we did. Yeah. It was a throwback.
Yeah.
Throwback.
You know,
you definitely have my vote.
okay.
I mean, when I first got involved in actually playing D&D when I was about 8 years old. Tim's dad, John, actually ran us through G1. And now, interestingly, at the time there wasn't a whole heck of a lot known about all the rules and so forth. And so, interestingly, we had like first and second level characters that are running through G1.
Oh my God, really?
It was all about the storyline and about how you took care of it and so forth. So he didn't know any better when you're that young. But
so John Sheets was running it.
That was the first intro that we actually had.
Yeah. John's been out on disability for a while, so he hasn't been to our game in like 9 months. And when he was a DM, he had a great one-liner. Go ahead, Mark. What did he say? He would always say, "You're dead. What do you do next?"
Oh yeah, yep.
Well, hey, you'll see a Judges Guild one coming up here shortly, man. I mean, I got plenty. I got Spies of Light Elf and all the other Judges Guild ones, but only one that even comes, one that's fantastic. All right, so we're gonna say that this one's in. There's 5 left to go, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think this one's in too.
Has to be.
This is
the original.
This is a campaign setting more than a module, but if you run it as a module, you can still have a lot of fun with it. It is this is the Bible for how to run Dark Elves. Okay, that Menzer Bowden box set from Forgotten Realms and all the other crap that came out afterwards really overpowered Dark Elves. The Dark Elves were the clans of BattleTech, right? It just was. It's insane. Yes, Walt. Hell yes, absolutely. We had so much fun doing this, and I'm going to tell you a quick story. So Fonkenhadi Peak is down there, and you're at the Dark Tower as you go into the Errol High Sinlu and the whole city area.
Why don't you tell us who Fonken is?
Well, if you know Fonken's actually an NPC in the G book. Okay. Yeah. And Fonken is now is the second in command of the Order of Ulick. So that he's been around. He's like 14. He's a little bit of a smart ass, Calicut smart ass. And I'm thinking it was Devitt. Devitt was hurt, and so Fonken goes, "Here, I'll heal you." And he fed her a filter of love.
No. So let's tell the real story. So the fact of the matter is Fonken is just an ass. There's just no other way of explaining it. But his thing always was hoarding healing and extra healing potions.
Tell the story. I gotta help them with the monkey hawks. I'll be right back.
Anybody. Now, when that actually happened, Devitt was hurting, and he gave what everybody thought was an extra healing potion, and ended up being a filter of love. And I remember this specifically, and Walt said that Devitt drank it down, and Jay made a point to say, Fonken makes sure that he is the first one that you actually see. And after, it was one of the first times that we actually had like an internal fight, so to speak, amongst players, if you want to call it that. And after it had worn itself off, Devitt made a point to walk up to him with a pair of gauntlets of ogre power and punch him right in the mouth.
Yes. So there we go. I got my balls busted. So they found the monkey hooks. So that's a good story. I know how it goes. But that was adventure number 62.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So are we all in agreement that this one's in?
Absolutely.
2 in, 4 to go. Now I think we hold off until.
Catch your breath, would you?
Yeah. I think we hold off now until we go through all the rest of these. 4 spots for 10 modules. We just ran this just got run at adventure number 634. It wasn't that long ago. I ran it for the Harby Irregulars. They found out where the Ghost Tower of Embers was near Harby, did all the work, and it actually fit into our Harby campaign. So we haven't run it. Wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
So I don't know. It supposedly is an all-time classic. But my opinion, maybe it's not. It's going to get right on the cusp. So we'll see with what the other ones we have. But it's a tournament module. That's what it is. And I think the next one I'm going to put up is probably more of a go than this one, but we'll see. Okay, so I'll put this in the maybe pile. Return to White Blue Mountain. Return to White Blue Mountain, not the original. What do you think?
I still think the original is superior.
We never ran the original.
All the Corruptus stuff is great in there.
Yeah, we never ran the original.
No.
We ran this. We can't put the original up. We didn't run it. So, yes. Now, Return, okay, Sprocket. Return is in the Silver Anniversary 25th Edition box set. So, it's which goes for like $250 now, that box set. But you can get this on about eBay for $25 to $30, not a beat-up copy. So, Walt didn't play this, but everyone else did. I am Corruptus. One of Alan's characters actually turned into Corruptus in this. It was at Phoenix? It was Phoenix. Phoenix turned into Corruptus, yeah. We have Corruptus as a child, and Elaine Winchester... Elaine Winchester and Duke Wilburn are raising Corruptus as now. So, it's...
Yeah, that has some interesting twists in it as opposed to the original.
Yeah, so that's one that we will have to find out if we want to. It's for us. All right, adventure number 431. Okay, I'll put these up together because they just came up on the screen.
Yep.
I thought these were great, but I think a couple of you were just, they were okay. So
I would just say as compared to the others that are there, I think the others are just better, is all.
And they were so long ago and so low level that, we ran them, 20 years ago.
All right, so we ran them twice, but you weren't here for obviously the first ones. Number 144 and 145. And then I ran them as number 342 and 345, and that's the one you were in.
Yeah, you're talking here 20, and they didn't leave that large of an impression.
And it was the Legion.
I
ran them for the Legion, man.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
I know the group that did it, but as for an impression of them, they didn't leave a lasting one with me anyway.
Okay.
But that's me.
That's fair. That's fair input, man. It's absolutely fair input. It's not they're low level 2 through 5. I thought that they're really well written. One is to defeat the other one, but with only 6 slots, and we've already filled 2 of them, and we got 4 to go. Yep. We'll see on that. So UK made some good stuff. The UK we got Voltron Speaking up there. We got Ravager of Time up there. So. Okay, this one I already know what's going to happen, but I have to put it up here because there's a couple memorable moments in it, and it's the only crossover one to Dragon Quest they ever made. It's the Shattered Statue. It took place up north. It's one of the few modules we ever did, like in the Rover of the Barrens area, and it's a module that I remember that Alan's character Arcturus got changed into a red dragon in it, and. Yeah, so this is one that I'd say it's more probably my memories than anyone else on it. So, but there's probably others. There's out of 10 modules, I'd say it's probably going to be close that this isn't going to get there. So.
Well, before my time, I never ran it.
Yeah, you haven't run that one either.
I don't have a lot of memories of it personally, so right. I remember the Red Dragon, but that's about it.
Okay, the next one was added by request, and I think it'll probably make it up there. So, Salt Marsh.
Yep.
It's such a great series, and that's where it all starts from. That series. The final enemy's the finish, but that's a great series.
Well, here's the thing. I don't remember. I think I ran this when characters were first, just about to get to second. I did not. This is the one I was talking about starting off a campaign with. I don't think I started off a campaign with this.
No, you didn't. Well, it was actually, you started that when I first started playing.
Right.
Yep.
So the
we're
character.
talking 20, 25 years ago.
Okay.
There were some existing characters because that's the group that evolved into the Vesti group.
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so Eleanor ran this.
Eleanor, yep.
I've run
Eleanor
this.
Mestis, isn't it?
What's that? I'm sorry?
No,
I
he
said
has Garth.
Eleanor Mestis, wasn't
Garth.
it?
He has Garth. Garth Warmonger. No,
Oh,
not
and
Garth. I mean Jonar.
Jonar, yeah.
So I ran this adventure number 101 and adventure number 287. So we did run this twice. We ran this a long time ago. And the first group, the 100 series group, it culminates in U3. And I think that's the adventure that Six Arms Sahagwan Prince came out in U3. And Wayne said, "Oh my God, we can't leave. We haven't fought the Six Arms Sahagwan Prince yet." And we all looked at him like, "How do you know about that?" He's because he had the module and he read it. And then they went and fought him. And then Garnett's character got permanently eaten by the shark. And he was all pissed off about it. That's the hundreds one. The 280 one was with Bill and the other Bill and those guys. So
Right.
yeah, this is a great. It's not really a true starter at first level like Keep on the Borderlands is, but it's like when you're first about to go to second, this is when you run this series. I am contemplating down the road doing these again, maybe in 5 years. They're that good. So, all right, are we all in agreement that this one is what's that?
To me, that's an end. Definitely.
Yeah. I have to say, compared to everything else that's up there, I think that has to be in.
Yes. Lin and in. 3 in. 3 to go. Okay, this one's for Walt. Well, this one I ran adventures numbered 16 and 27.
Yep.
The Assassin's Knot, the second in the L series. A lot of intrigue. It turns out if you ever run this one, the entire Sprock, I would run the other two, man. They're fantastic. I would run the whole series if you can on those, on the U series. I would. They're really cool. The Assassin's Knot was supposedly some kind of sequel to Bonehill, but it's not. The only thing it's a sequel is it's in Restonford, which is where like the people send you from to Bonehill to. That's the only thing they have in common. That's a shame, dude. But it turns out that the entire town is all assassins, right?
Yep.
They're all assassins, everyone. It's like, oh my God. And so, and what's the most memorable thing about this? Gridley, right?
Gridley. Yep. Gridley floating away down the river.
So, of course, you know, what do Alan and Tim have in common? They like their thieves going off on their own, and then I got to stop everything I'm doing and having them do solo stuff throughout it. So Gridley decided he's going to go out on his own in the middle of the night and not tell anyone, right? Right in the middle of the night. He's going to go around, they'll never find me. I'm so sneaky and stuff, not knowing that the whole town's assassins, right? And someone's watching all the rooms. He goes out at the bridge and stuff. 2 assassins come, and he gets assassinated, and they strip him and they let his body float down the creek river or whatever, and the group never sees him ever again. So, and Tim was mad about it, but I was like, Tim, you went out and didn't tell anyone, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I thought you were going to say what they had in common was arguing with the DM about rules. But
well, that too. That too, but it was just a moment. So this one I think is on the cusp of a maybe here.
Yep.
So all right, let me get my no pile here and my maybe pile here because we've got 3 spots left. All right. All right. We're through TSRs. Let me get the least favorite of the 3 out of the way on this one. So even though I liked it, okay. This adventure is Necromancer Games adventure. Necromancer Games. I'm really upset that they got bought out and then just disappeared. Frog God Games bought them out. They made some unbelievable stuff. The Sword and Sorcery line, the Relic and Rituals books, are like Hollow Faust that Bill has, and all the modules they have are fantastic. Yep. They're long, they're detailed. I mean, each Durbanford was unbelievable.
Durbanford was great.
Yeah, but it's a hardback book, so it can't go up.
Yeah.
So this is the one that I remember because you fight Dweeblix in it in the end. There's some super high level characters you fight in this, and Alan's character poison the well to kill the army that was troubled. It was sieging the place you had to go to.
Because he's chaotic.
Yeah, because he's a typical chaotic, stupid character. So, but other than that, I don't think there's a lot of gumption for everyone else to have this one in.
I have very, very vague memories of it. I remember that we fought Dweeblix, but that was it.
Yeah. Chaos Rising was adventure number 465 we did. And I just, once again, I put up a whole bunch of stuff that I thought would be, memorable. And it appears this one didn't have a lot of memories to it. But like I said, I'd recommend it. It's long. It's high. It's for high level, 12th level and above. So
that's good. That just means you get to run it again.
No, I don't think I'm gonna run that. All right, the next two are here we go. Here's your Judges Guild. This was my initiation into into Tim DMing something that he did a fantastic job on. The first thing, he did a lot of great things, but The Wizard of Id was the first adventure that I ever had Tim DM for me, and I made the Wizard of Stidge in honor of that. He ran this for me, I don't know, when I was in high school, and Mark. It was Mark and me. Yeah. And he did a fantastic job on this. This is long. It's really nasty. It's probably, in my opinion, it's Judges Guild's best work. I mean, now people may say there's some other ones, Thieves or Fortress Madagascar, and I'm not talking about the city-states. Those are whole campaigns. I'm talking about as far as an adventure goes. I love this thing. Bill was like, I don't think you played during this.
I was a visitor for some of it.
I ran this adventure number 217. Yeah, Walt remembers this. This thing was... this thing was really, in the end, you fight Sutek set, all the minions is set, and set the Avatar set himself, and so Walt remembers this one, definitely. I think this one,
I think that's a no-brainer.
This sealed in perfect condition, you're looking at $250, $300 for one of these things now. Look, it says $550 on it. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna put that in the let's wean it down pile. Okay, that's because we got 3 definites, and then the last one. Walt's gonna say absolutely on this one.
Yep.
So Fortress Elendar. Now the reason this is shrink wrapped is I took years ago Tim's copy and photocopied it, and that's what I used. This is a small company. This Jeffrey Dillo did this. It's called High Fantasy, Adventures in High Fantasy. Caverns of Thracia, dude. I got the original you're talking about. I got the reprint of it that's red, but the blue copy Caverns of Thracia is expensive too. That's another one. That's a good one too.
Thracia was very good.
But Necromancer Games re-released that, the Judges Guild version of that too. This one, Fortress Elendar, number 118 and number 186. And the funny thing about this one is completely another game system, but it was easily convertible to our first and second edition game. And there were some fantastic items in this, like the Prometheus clay, the Shield of Prey. There's some really cool things in it, and the whole concept behind it was fantastic too. There's actually a cannon in the game too. There are Pennoi archers in the game, which you could see in the dark, perfectly like daylight, and they were unbelievable archers. There was a trick you get duped basically in it. But the fun thing is we had a character. We had Wayne, a player named Wayne, and he took his character and he turned as they were assaulting, and he turned into a mole and he dug into the earth, right? And then he stayed there until the next 12 rounds, right?
Yeah.
So then a couple years later, I ran it, and Bill Islandfeld took his character and did the same exact thing, and it was just like so funny, when we ran it the second time. But this is one of those that we put this in the Shieldlands, almost near White Plume Mountain is where we put this, in the Far East Shieldlands. Like I said, I'm not opening this because I got a photocopy copy of it that I use. So I found this online a few years back, and I'm keeping it sealed. So. Yes, see, I will kill you if this doesn't make it, just say. Yeah, so I got some great memories from that one. Where we are right now is this. Okay, so we got some eliminations. All right, so these are all definites right now. So we got against the Giants is a definite.
Yep.
D3 is a definite.
Yep.
And
Yes.
Salt Marsh is a definite, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
3 to go. Okay. I got 5. The 5 remaining ones are Ghost Tower of Inverness. Okay. Return to White Bloom Mountain. Assassin's Knot. Dark Tower. And Fortress Elendar. So, any discussion on eliminating or memories or something?
Well, I would say the last 2 are definites as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you were looking at my 6, I mean, against the Giants, definitely. Ball of the Drow is in. Sinister Secret of Salt Marsh is definite. Ghost Tower of Inverness is just it's a classic. You can't get any more Greyhawk than Ghost Tower of Inverness.
Right.
And then I finish it up with Dark Tower and Fortress Elendar. Even though I never ran those, I know enough of the history about them from the stories being retold to appreciate them.
Right.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it is that if we're all in agreement on Fortress Elendar and Dark Tower, and obviously Walt is completely in agreement on that from online, I appreciate that, Walt. I would say let's put those 2 in and discuss the final 3. How's that sound? All right, so we got 2 other off-game license going in, so we got 5 in now. Okay, so and let's put this up here before we pick the last one. Did I miss something? Is there any ones that come to your mind? I scanned through the modules and I looked and I'm like, we didn't do like Lost Tomb of Martek, the Eyes. We didn't do many of them. And then I know Bill loves the Slavers. It's not a module. It's really a whole campaign setting, and I just build adventures off of it. You know,
Right.
and you love that.
Slavers resource book. Yeah.
Right, it's a resource book, and Durbinford's a hardback book and a campaign setting as well with a whole bunch of adventures in it. Right, so that's out, you know, because it's just, and then you have.
Well, we also haven't run. So make sure that we qualify. These are all ones that we've actually run. So people that are out there are asking things like Ia's the Evil or Rary the Traitor or those types. We haven't run those. To my
Ia's the Evil is just a campaign setting with a bunch of information in it. Now there's one where you go in and try and rescue Homer out of it, right? There's that, I forget what the name of that one is, but we never ran that. We didn't run Tegel Manor. That's a good one. I know Walt's got a real nice copy of that. Yeah,
Tim ran Tegel Manor.
Yes, Tim ran Tegel Manor, Sprocketeer. Yeah, our friend Tim, he ran that one for us. But I never ran it, and I don't have it logged in. And so I don't, I was trying to rack my brain with the couple. I went through all the ones. I was shocked. We never ran against the Cold of the Reptile God N1, and I'm going to run that for our new group of firsts. We never ran it. I was like, oh my god, this thing's an old one. We never ran that one. So Destiny of Kings we ran, and I was like,
Starfalls we ran.
That's not bad, but I just didn't think it came up to the level of the other ones we were talking about.
Yep.
So
well, I'll put in my 2 cents. So if I was to choose between all of these, I would agree as well. I think that if you're looking for real classics, I mean, you don't get much more classic than C2.
Yep.
I mean, the Ghost Tower, it's absolute lore in the Greyhawk campaign. I don't think that you can get away without actually using it at some point or another. So given against the other 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the other 2, but if I was to weigh those 3 out, that would be my vote as well.
You see, here's where I'm coming from, and I completely agree with you, I think, but do I want to kiss up to Leonard Lekofka's butt anymore or not?
Yes.
So he can send us more stuff, right? So
More stuff.
That I'd put in L2 just because you trust me. When I was first talking to him, I showed him the wall and said, "Look where yours is. Look where yours is." But that's okay. Yeah. So, Walt, what you got? You got an input on this? Type it in for me, and anyone else, type it in out of these three. I would say since we didn't run the original White Plume Mountain, this return one was good, but it's really not an old school classic. Plus, I don't want to break it out of my silver edition box set. But that's all right. I mean, I'd do it if I had to. I'd try and find another copy. I'd probably get one for $25-$30. But just like I did with D3, But there's a lot of different ways you can go. But for us, we just recently ran the Ghost Tower of Inverness. So, gone. What's that mean? Your Teasel Manor's gone? Is that what you mean, Walt? But so I guess the Ghost Tower would be the way to go. And I think I was just waiting for his input from the three. So, and he hasn't inputted yet, but, as far as some things that came up that Mark really brought up that I think is a great idea that we're going to expand on. If you know where my wall is in the basement, I have the window, the basement window, and on the other side, I got a blank side right after that. And my wife will kill me, but, it's my basement, right? It was part when we moved here. Mark came up with a great idea, and that is... Yeah, White Plume Mountain gone. Okay. All right. Well, then we're down to 2, Walt. All right. As we're talking about this. So, there are so many great published modules that we've done out of Dragons and Dungeons, but there's no cover. A lot of them don't maybe have some pictures in them or whatever, but we should really honor a lot of those. And of course, we both agree the first one that's going up there is Citadel by the Sea from both of us because we've run it both so many times and it's such a classic adventure. And we've used that as an entry to our campaign to introduce people to me DMing and you DMing, right? That's what we've used, is that adventure because it really is, it's so fantastic. So, that we're going to have to figure out. Now, what was your idea on stuff I've written myself, Mark? Go ahead, shoot that one out there, too.
So my thought behind it was that if we can come up with a, basically kind of like what the main point of the storyline was and so forth, we can enlist the aid of, there's a lot of different artists that are out there that I think could illustrate almost basically like a cover for what it is that we're looking for some of the adventures that you did.
Wow.
So I think that, there are many unpleasant ways to die. My secret favorite of Amazon, Amazon to the Crimson Moon. Yeah, Amazon to the Crimson Moon, I think, was an absolute classic as well.
You also loved, you always told me the Dreadwood Encounters one was good in the forest. So.
Yep. And what was the other one? The one with the doppelganger, In the Flesh.
In the Flesh.
In the Flesh
Classic.
was just a really good one too. So, I think that if we're really going to pay heed to and dedicate ourselves to the entire game, there are tons of things that were in Dragon and Dungeon and stuff that you did yourself. Even the Wizard's Stitch as an example that were all worthwhile. And I think that effectively, if we're telling the story about a 38-plus-year-old campaign going on. You can't leave any of those out.
Yeah, and like, I'll give you an example of that thought. Steve busting my balls about doing this kind of stuff all the time. You got a good friend who doesn't understand or play D&D at all. And I explained to him that, like, this was all the doing the Twitch and going this route was all spurred on by that Canadian guy who said he had the longest campaign going on. I'm like, you know what? I'm only gonna be alive so many more years. We as a group gotta leave our mark somehow on the world, and this is how we're gonna do it. It's with seriously, it's with all the stuff that's been developed over this time. It's a lot of knowledge. It's a lot of cool gameplay. We've all had fun doing it over all these years, and that's why we started doing it. And so I just. Some people don't understand Dungeons and Dragons, but I think more and more people are really starting to have fun with it. Like I said, the Stranger Things brought it back and made it cool again. And
yep. And so did things like the Big Bang Theory and
that's true.
And even interestingly enough, so I just watched this today. If you ever watch, there's a show out there that's called The Forensic Files.
Okay, your picks off, Bill.
It's a show that is dedicated to showing, like when bad crimes actually happen, about all the forensics that goes into play. And there were these 2 high school kids that were being questioned by the authorities because of a murder that happened, or it was a set of bombs that went off. And sure enough, that in the actual interview, they were saying that, oh, well, we play Dungeons and Dragons, and of course, going through a private school where that was, frowned upon.
Yeah.
It took a lot of bad rap, but
you got in trouble for wearing a shirt to school the one day, didn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That had a dragon on the front of it. That was that was like the evil incarnate, type of a thing. But the funny thing is that I think that there's, when you get into the philosophy of the actual game and about the things that it teaches you, if you ever watch, the old what was Mike Greenberg had done an actual interview piece about how Dungeons and Dragons really changed like the mindset of people, and about the problem solving skills that it taught you and the math that it taught you and so forth. I can honestly say in my career, it's funny, but I mean I do IT work, and it's taught me an awful lot of troubleshooting skills I probably would never have if I wasn't a player.
That's interesting.
So
I know there's a lot of interaction. Oh yeah, dude, they killed Blackleaf. You don't know how many times, getting on our thing, how many times we bring that up every week, the Blackleaf thing, and then burning all the books in the end. Like, the last pictures, a bonfire of all the D&D books, man. Yep. It happened here in the U.S. too. If you're in the U.K., man, it happened all the time back in the day. So yeah, absolutely. You're showing your age too now, man.
Yep. So. I'm showing my age now as well.
Yeah. So, but for me, it's I just love creating. And by the way, next week's is going to be another memorable one. Mark's idea. It's already events up. Memorable NPCs. I mean, how can you go wrong with that discussion, right? So, but that'll be next week's. But so I would say that I don't know if it helped me in politics or it helped me with my sales job or whatever, but it just. You do a lot of role play and a lot of people to people interaction in the game, So, there's a lot of that, and it is a. As far as another thing was interviews. We were supposed to, the Dungeons and Dragons movie that was supposed to come out, the documentary. They were supposed to come and interview us, but then they got into a lawsuit with Wizards and it got held up and it never happened. So that's been like 5-6 years ago. That was supposed to happen too. Yeah, so I saw that post about interviews with people. So, I think that we've come a long way and we still got a long way to go. And I'm 51, but you play until you die, I guess, right? So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you keep posting them, we'll keep playing them.
Oh, I came up with a great one for I got a real. This is completely homegrown. You're gonna love it for this Thursday. It's a lot of role play early on too. All right, Back to this. I think Walt has made the final decision on this because he goes, did I run the Assassin's Knot? And if it's not that memorable, if he doesn't remember running it, I don't see how I can add this one in. Yeah. Bill wasn't in on this one, so we're gonna go. The last one, Ghost Tower. Remember this? Everyone in agreement with me?
I agree.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Let me just make sure. Yep, 6 out, 6 in. All right. So, here are the final 6 we got that are going up. Beautiful. I think they're fantastic additions. All right. Dark Tower, Fortress Elendar. Gosh. I'm telling you, people just don't understand. They just don't understand the game. But that's it. There's a lot of. I think the misnomers are going away now. It's a different era. It's a different time.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really a lot. And I think with the Twitch thing is helped out a lot with that. I mean, I go on to I go on to see the D&D site that's actually on there for Wizards or what's it, Saving Throw Show or some of these other ones, and there's 10,000 people watching it. I'm like, oh my god, 10,000! You know what I mean? It's crazy. So I think it's really turned a corner here. So here we go. We got our decisions here on this. Those 6 I will add to my wall. They'll be up for when you guys get here Thursday. So I appreciate the assistance on that, and you can see it'll go in that bottom row, and we'll have 24 up, and that'll be it. I can't expand on this where this is on the wall. Well, it's good to hear.
If we're really going to pay tribute, I think that we need to say thank you to all the time that we spent playing, DMing, and so forth. Frankly, rest in peace, Gary Gygax. But thank you for coming up with such a great game that's changed so many lives. Obviously, Leonard Lakofka. Gene Ford, Robert Kuntz, there's Weiss and Hickman. I mean, I read all of the Dragonlance books and fell in love with them. I thought that they were absolutely fantastic.
That makes sense.
They were players. They were players that actually became authors. So, they spent their time actually going and creating these different types of fantasy worlds for people like us to be able to take and enjoy and spend a lot of hours of fun. So.
Well, we did. Speaking of Dragonlance, and Sprocketeer brings us up, we did a conversion over with a group, and just because we didn't know what it was about with the modules, and I ran them, and we got the DL4, and it just didn't work. We're like, we're going back to the other world. And that's how Mark's character, Swain, actually, I mean, he probably destroyed that entire Dragonlance alternate reality. He brought Lorana back with her. She came back to the Greyhawk world, and his Swain Markham's wife, Lorana, he has 3 children, Alicia, Gilthanas, and Emberalta.
Yep.
Everyone loves Gilthanas. Oh, next week? We can talk about Gilthanas next week.
Gilthanas, yep.
Thank you.
Not Gilthanas' brother.
Right, the Greyhawk Gilthanas. So.
Yeah, not the Greyhawk Gilthanas. Just so the
So what Bill is making?
For those who want to say Gilthanas, you know who I mean.
What Bill is making will be used Thursday evening. It'll be on the top of 3 levels of GeoHex, by the way, Walt and anyone else watching. So he's working on that. It'll be up. Yep.
Nice.
Okay.
You're such a master. I swear.
Yep. That'll be up.
Well, I'll tell you, I have to give credit where credit's due. There are so many good crafting sites out there that I follow. Blackmagic Craft is a great one. DM's Craft. With DM Scotty is a good one. A guy who builds all kinds of great stuff cheap. Lilacs Crafts. I mean, there's some really good guys, and they do fantastic tutorials that you can learn how to make terrain. It's not hard if you want to take the time and you got a little bit artistic skill. You can make this stuff. So really check out those sites. They're fantastic. I highly recommend it.
Yes, we will check them out, but we have you to check them out. So Bill paints 99% of the figures as well that we have. Yep. All those on the shelves are 20,000 figures or whatever. Most of them are painted by him. There's a few exceptions, but really not many. So, and that goes back a lot. It goes back to the last 25 years. I painted some enamel figures. That was it. Oh, did he hang up by accident?
Yeah, I think he may have lost him, but that's okay.
You know what probably happened? His power died on his. Okay. Don't talk about me anymore. No. So here's what we got up going on. So this week we'll have a prelude on Wednesday night. He's off. The module is called the adventure homegrown called Seeking Salash. It'll be run by the Hiltless Swords out of Hardby. Okay. And then the event will start Thursday night. It'll probably be 2 weeks. I know Alan won't be there second week, but he'll be there the first week. And I'd say about 20,000 figures and about. Well, I don't want to be a braggart and show all those pictures of those things. That's not what it's about. But like I got 2 walls of terrain and figures and stuff. I mean, it's just like. When we moved in this house like 5 years ago, I was like, "Oh my god, the basement's perfect! I can do these walls," and that's what we did. So, it's all accumulation of stuff. And then next week, Mark's idea was running this next week's Gabbin on memorable NPCs, and that would be I think a lot of fun, because there's some really fun NPCs and there's some hated NPCs, loved NPCs. So we can talk about that. So and then we'll go from there, man. We'll see what we got up until I go on vacation in a couple weeks. So we should have affiliate status within 2 to 3 weeks. That's our target. We should be actually up over affiliate. So yay! So any final thoughts from anyone on online, or Walt? Anything you want to bring up last second? I know Bill popped off. How about you, Mark? Anything else you want to? I appreciate the assistance from everyone on this.
Yeah. No, not really. Other than you know, in the 80s and stuff, when you know, we were chastised for playing such, you know, being such geeks and playing such games and stuff. It just goes to show that you know, you still can get married and
yeah,
and forth. That you know, I don't know. I just look back on my actual life, and this has always been, you know, a part of it, one way, shape, or form. And I know that, you know, I went through spurts when I didn't play, and you know, it almost feels like there's a piece missing, because it gives you the opportunity to take some time and, you know, just shut the world out, so to speak.
I know this, that I've been married since '96, and I have been, you know, with my wife a couple years before that. But I mean, I've known everyone, all you guys, some of you from since Alan since '78, and you and Walt and Tim since 81, and you know, Bill since the early 90s, and then all the other you know, Mr. Sheets and Tom Lanuti and Gary Scharf and all the other,
and even
Garnett and
Bill and Sleepy, you know, and those guys, and you know, they add to the stories, what good or bad, but they still add to them.
So Malder, I appreciate the comments. So you caught us right at the end of the show. So you know, this is Talking, we play on Thursday nights, and we broadcast it live. So and then I do a prelude the day before, and they're both at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So please feel free to follow and check us out, because we're any money we're going to get down the road when we become an affiliate, we're doing all donations. We're not doing this for money. We're doing this for the love of the game. That's what we're all about. First, second edition hybrid, you know, with customized rules and tabletop gaming. Check out our videos. We've been putting them up, and it's just like, I've had so much fun doing this. I know Mark's had a blast. I think I got an idea in my head, Mark. We got to talk about it down the road. Maybe linking the channel up, and maybe seeing if you want to even do it with your group. You know,
absolutely.
Yes. Any kind of you know, like I said, we're gonna do. I know I saw this big thing, and I don't know if they stole our idea, but actually, Wizards D&D is doing this huge thing for National Children's Hospital. Yes, thank you, Maldor. We appreciate that. Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're going to do, like I said, all our money, anything we collect is going to go into donations and going into good causes, because we don't need the money. We really don't. We all have good jobs. We all play for the fun of it, and that's what we're gonna do here. So, oh, hey, one thing, Sprocket. Do you have a 20-sided die that's completely, all the corners have chipped off, and when you roll it, it rolls forever and ever and ever, and it never stops? Because we have some dice that are so, Mark may be getting them out. We have some dice that are so old. You roll them and they just don't stop rolling, man. Because remember the old ones, the first incarnations of the 20-sided die didn't have 11 to 20s on them. You had to darken them in. And then the second incarnations, where they made the marbled ones, they chipped. There you go. Look at that. That's a 12.
Yeah, so this is one of the original. This is actually older than me. So, you know, at 47.
Absolutely.
Like the original 12s.
Yeah.
That was me. I still have my very first set of dice, full set, that I ever had, which was, at the time, they were called Fireball. And basically what it was all of the leftover material that they had, instead of making them solids, they just combined it all together, and they have, you know, they look kind of like this. So they have like all sorts of different colors. And yeah, all the edges are all rounded and so forth. And I've protected that set since day one.
I have an original D&D box set, but I have chits in it. But I had one with the green 20 and the yellow 4-sided pyramid. I don't know what happened to them, and I wish, and it was all filled in. I wish I had them. I don't know what happened to them.
Yep.
I wish I had those original dice because, just for nostalgia thing. Yep. Yeah, back in the day, Game Science, then Chess, then it was the Armory. Then it was Armory out of Baltimore, and then it was Chessex, right? Was that it? Chessex dice, and the Chessex is still around. Yeah, so just doing some reminiscing here, and that's what a lot of this is for putting up these games on our Wall of Fame. Out of 826 adventures I've run, these are the ones that published modules that made our Hall of Fame. It's just, that's what it is. It's just sharing the memories with everyone. Oh gosh, that 100-sided die never always had that lip around the middle of it, and never. There's certain numbers you couldn't even get on it. It's the one I'm thinking about on that. So
yeah, it's the one that looked like an inverted golf ball.
Yeah. So Bill probably got called by Cherie and said he had to come in the house or something. Get out of your garage. So guys, I appreciate the input from everyone. It was a great hour. It was a fun show. You guys have all been great on there. I appreciate the input. We're gonna have a real homegrown. I already got the terrain set up. Eventually, you'll see some of the terrain on Wednesday night. I do a prelude from 7 to like 7:30, 7:45 at the latest. And it's just me talking about what's going to be going on in the adventure the next night. That because a lot of people come on, they see tabletop play, and they go, "Oh, there's no story behind it. It's just figures and stuff." But it's not. There's a whole story behind it. So, I try and do that to keep track. Plus, my guys have memories like sieves, and they don't remember what they had for lunch yesterday. They had a turkey or ham sandwich. They don't remember. So yeah. So I gotta that's getting old with that. So I appreciate the input from everyone. Walt, thanks a lot for online. Bill, thanks even though you're gone. Mark, as always, thank you. You guys made great some great decisions here, and I'll check that out, Sprocket. That's
nice.
Cool, man. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melor, for the follow. We appreciate it, and. We're on. If you want to reach me outside of the game, you can always leave me a message on this site here on my Twitch site, Lord Gazumba. You can go to Cannon Fire, and you'll find me right on the Cannon Fire site immediately on Facebook. Or there's a lot of the first edition AD&D ones, Sages of Earth. There's a whole bunch of them, and you'll know it's us immediately. Most of us are on those sites. You can find us there, and then connect with us through Facebook as well. So we're easy to find. We're all grown up South Jerseyans, so right outside Philadelphia. Mark's moved to Ohio, but this is where we're all from. So we're East Coast based U.S. If anyone had any question on that as well. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Walt, thanks a lot, and I'm going to sign off here, and I'll see you guys on my Prelude Wednesday night, and we'll be gaming again on Thursday. And once again, there's nothing better than first to second edition, and it's making a comeback along with Greyhawk. So,
yeah,
keep it going, guys. Talk to you soon.